knew the risk was worth it, and I knew she wasn't worth losing.
Welcome back to our channel.
Today we're going to talk about how we dated.
In the last video we talked about how we met. In this video we're going to talk about what happened after we came back to the US. For context, I think you should watch the video, but if you didn't, basically we met up in Barcelona.
She came back the day of my birthday, so we met up immediately. She wanted to go out for my birthday. We got some drinks.
After we met in Barcelona, he was supposed to get back to the US be like that week, I think at the end of the week that we spent in Barcelona, but I asked him to extend a little bit and stay there because I was staying there a little bit longer. I was staying there like 3 weeks, and he did. He stayed a little bit longer for me.
After that, I flew back,
we
flew
both
back
lived
to
in
LA because it happened so fast. As soon as we came back, we went out for my birthday, and it just like continued it, and we've stayed together ever since. I think I might have even asked you to be my girlfriend that day.
No, I was a little bit into the relationship.
I remember.
Oh gosh, yeah, I asked him to ask me to be his girlfriend. Yeah, I was like, you have to ask. Yeah. And then he brought wine and I think flowers. I think he brought flowers too.
I did bring flowers.
Yeah. So I was living in West Hollywood at the time, and he was sort of like in a different part of LA, and he would like come back from work from like the beach in like Malibu, and like he'd drive all the way to West Hollywood, which is quite a drive. Not great during traffic, but he would like come afterwards and see me in West Hollywood. And one of the nights he brought wine and flowers, and he asked me to be his girlfriend, and he was so cute about it. We became kind of like officially like exclusive in dating, I want to say like a month into the relationship.
Yep. And then craziness, her living in California, she was used to Seattle, no income tax, and now living in California, even if you're making more money, now you're just getting taxed more. It's like she wanted to kind of move even starting the next year, where we just met in the basically end of September, and now she's asking me or telling me she's gonna move to either Texas or Colorado, and puts me in a big spot. A lot of my friends and family live in Los Angeles. A lot of my friends and family hadn't even met her yet.
But I do want to say, before we moved together, like my side of the story, this little piece about moving, I actually ended up meeting a few of your family. Like I met some of your friends and stuff, because he would come a lot to West Hollywood to see me, and so one day I was like, I have to come to where you live. I have to see where you live. I wanted to suss things out too. I wanted to just like see like how he lived. So when I went, I met a few of his friends, a few of his like families, and then same thing, like one day like my sisters were like just leaving after hanging out with me, and so he was just arriving, and so like I was like, oh, you guys should wait for him so you can meet him. So he met my siblings that day too. We didn't really like meet like parents at that time before we moved to Colorado, but we met kind of each other's friends and families, or some of them. And then yeah, I had to tell him like I wanted to move to a different state,
and I'm kind of getting this like, I'm going to move to either Texas or Colorado. Do you want to come with me? And I knew how great she was, so I knew the risk was worth it, and I knew she wasn't worth losing just for her going on that trip. And I was like, I love traveling anyway, seeing new places. And I was like, what's the worst that can happen? So around New Year's time, which wasn't the best time, she said she wanted to check out Denver. She thought that's where she wanted to live.
That's because I love California. It's a great state, but it's not only just the taxes. The taxes, to be honest, to me are annoying. I don't like the income state tax. Again, having worked like a couple of years in Washington state, they have like zero income tax. So just giving away like a huge chunk of like my paycheck through like California income tax wasn't so exciting. And also I really do not like the traffic tickets you get in LA. And I'm not a bad driver, but for some reason there are just random like parking tickets and other tickets. I just don't like how aggressive they are also about like giving out tickets.
I was very angry just dealing with the traffic.
So I do not like that about it. And
She was getting tickets all the time.
No.
Let's make
Don't
that
say
clear.
that. I'm a great driver. I'm a safe driver. I'm okay. Okay, not as safe as you. You're a safe driver. You're a great driver.
Yeah, it's okay. You've only had a car like really driven, like not that much. Another thing, yeah, about California is the traffic. A lot of people want to live there. It's completely packed. Traffic is absolutely miserable, especially if you have to drive after work. I used to drive from Malibu to Hollywood after work, and it just saying every day as soon as you get off, like you're tired, and you just who knows how long you're gonna be stuck in this traffic.
It could literally say like an hour and 50 minutes, you know, for like that
Yeah.
distance. And also I have family in Southern California, so like a little bit of the story that I want to say because it's nostalgic and it's just a good memory that I have is the place that we decided we were going to move to Colorado is I was visiting family in Southern California and he came up to see me because I was staying there for like a week plus, and so yeah, came down to see me and from LA, and so we met in like La Jolla, and that's when we had the discussion. I was like, hey, like, you know, I've been in California for a while, for years, and I don't really like want to stay here right now. Like maybe there's a chance like later in our future that we can come back to California, you know, if we're doing like maybe super well. I don't know what circumstances that we want to be back, but there are reasons we want to be back, like being close to family or different reasons. So it's like there's a chance that I want to go back to California, but for right now, I like want to strap down, like focus on like building my finances and stuff. So I want to be in a different state where they're nicer about taxes. So I said, let's go check out Denver. It seems like one of the cooler states that I want to move to.
So we packed up her car and I drove her to Denver. We ran out of gas.
Oh yeah.
In St. George, if you know where that is, it's like just craziness.
It's outside of Vegas.
In Utah, just craziness. Just there was no service.
Yeah.
It took hours to get picked up. That was just a little thing, but we ended up making it. You know, driving through Colorado mountains on the I-70.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. So
yeah,
maybe everything worked out for the better, but
yeah. So we moved to Colorado together. And Colorado is beautiful. It's a beautiful state. I'm happy that I moved there. Right after New Year's, basically about 3 months after we started dating, we moved to Colorado together.
One hiccup we did have when we went to Denver, we stayed in an Airbnb in Denver for like a week. We went to different areas, checked out, toured apartments, different stuff like that, looked at the housing market, saw different neighborhoods and all that. And I thought it was like okay. I didn't think it was worth leaving my job, my friends, family, everything for it being a little bit cheaper, and you know, like it just all the cons I said about California didn't make up. It just didn't seem worth it. But my grandfather used to live in Boulder, Colorado, and he told us to go check it out. So one of the last days we were there and we were like iffy if we even liked Denver. We're like, let's just go get lunch in Boulder.
You have a bougie taste. Let's just say that. But go on. Denver is a great city. There are like lots of locations to live in. I would have been okay with that. But he's like,
that's where our differences was. We go to Boulder and we both immediately went down Pearl Street, just the Flatirons.
I love it.
But on Pearl, the food, you know, there's so many amazing restaurants. Went to the sandwich spot and just
and
immediately.
It was snowing.
Yeah, it was snowing. It was absolutely beautiful, and I was like, this I could live in. So even that day, just after lunch, we're like, let's just go see if there's any apartments we could tour. We toured 2 apartments, and by the second one, they said get 2 months free. We would be the first tenants in this brand new building. Literally right near Pearl Street, and we're like,
we took it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first day we were in Boulder, we signed a lease there. And it was exciting. We loved Denver. I love Denver so much. I mean, I love Boulder so much. I like Denver too, but we love Boulder so much. It's a great little town. It's kind of expensive to live there, but I think that food tastes great. I think they focus a lot more on just like local farms and local produce and stuff. Tastes great. Everything about like the food in Boulder was great. There's just so many good food spots. The nature is beautiful. Like the hikes that we went to in Flatirons, and the other one with a lot of boulders and Estes Park and what is it called? National something?
Yeah, Rocky Mountain National Park is like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, we had
You have
like a park
snowboarding,
pass.
Eldora Mountain.
Beautiful.
You can go into like not too far from, Vail, Breckenridge and all that, just like an hour or two.
So we loved it, and so that's also kind of the reason like we work together is we are okay making decisions in one day if it makes sense. Obviously, we don't do that about everything. Like, for example, about moving, we talked about it a little bit longer. But when it came to like kind of shared interests, we have enough of it that we could decide being like, okay, yeah, let's live in Boulder. It seems like a great place because we knew all the factors that we wanted to like hit, and it checked those boxes. So the circumstances of our jobs that allowed us to move were, I was working at Amazon at the time as an engineer, as a systems engineer, and I really loved that job. And I was working remotely already anyways because it was COVID. And so they didn't really mind that I like moved to Colorado. So it was super easy for me. From a different state. There were some changes at work in terms of like payroll that they had to do, but that's about it for me. And for you?
I quit my job, moving to Colorado, and I was searching for some local restaurants in Boulder, and I applied to a few places. I ended up working at this very nice restaurant. It seemed like it was the nicest restaurant in Denver, and Denver area, nice restaurant in Boulder as well. It even just recently got a Michelin star, and it was super cool. See the attention to detail and learn from there. So to me, it was a great opportunity, even moving there and getting to like that quality of like a restaurant and working in that environment was just a great experience for me.
Yeah, and then when we were living in Colorado, it was winter.
That was my first snow winter living. I mean, I've been in the snow, but never like lived in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
So we were some snowbirds. We went down to Cancun.
Yeah, so we decided to take a trip, like a winter vacation, and we went to Cancun, Mexico, because initially I actually just wanted to go to like Miami or something. I just wanted like blue waters, some sun, and it was actually cheaper to go to Cancun, Mexico than it was to go to Miami. And considering other expenses of the trip, like hotel and food, it was cheaper to go to Cancun. So we went there, and actually we saw some really cool stuff. And also Sean wanted me to come to Mexico with him because he's been a couple of times, right? Like how many times have you been?
I've probably been 5 times before that.
Yeah.
5 or 6 times before. Not to even Cancun. I've been the Yucatan like 1 time.
Yeah,
usually West Coast. But I love history. Me gusta historia de México.
See. So he loves like, just like the Spanish culture, the indigenous culture, their food. So he wanted me to like, come to somewhere in Mexico with him as well. So we went to Cancun and we did like little day trips. To me, like the coolest part was just seeing like all the pyramids. Some of them are like a little bit of ruins, but they're literally these like stone villages from like thousands of years ago. And it was nice to kind of like involve myself in like a little bit of his interest as well. So we did that. It was a fun trip, and it was literally for like what, 4 days or something?
Yeah, something like 4 or 5 days.
And so we took that trip to Mexico and then came back to Colorado.
This was in March.
3 months. So that's like 6 months into dating. And so between that 6 month and a year and 4 months, we did some interesting things, some insane things. We actually have a lot of things that have happened during that time after like the 6 month point in our dating story. That will be a story for a different time. But a year and 4 months into our relationship, he proposed on the beautiful sandy beaches of Mexico. Not the first time we went another time on a different vacation, and then we got engaged. And if you want to check out the wedding video, it will be linked down below. It seems like maybe like a quick timeline, but if you consider like different cultures, like for example, I don't know, Indian matchmaking, this is way too long. If you're considering American culture, this is maybe a little too short. If you consider other like cultures, this might be like the right amount of time to date someone. But for us, we felt it was right. We have lived together, we've traveled together, we've taken road trips together, we've taken all kinds of trips, bike trips and train trips and plane trips. We've lived with each other for a while during the pandemic as well, so we kind of know like we worked together. And that is our love story.